Today is November 4th, 2024. My name is Rob Carter of Kalamazoo Right to Life. And this is Pro-Life Week. Well, tomorrow is the big day. It has finally arrived after a 2-year slugfest. And I'm hoping that most of you have already voted. And you're not going to have to deal with a rainy day like it is today, a rainy day tomorrow, and stand in line and wait to vote. Get it out of the way. That was the message from last week. Well, it's too late for that now. So tomorrow, please, if you haven't voted, please do your civic duty and vote for our pro-life candidates. They need your vote. They do indeed. I have a book here that you may recognize. My grandfather on my mom's side got this in 1940, I believe. He took a lot of business trips to Europe, but somebody gave him this book, and it's actually a book that the proceeds were going to some kind of a relief fund. But I show this cover, this book, because I'm not a Nazi. I'm not a fascist. I'm not a member of the National Socialist German Workers' Party. I'm not a member of the American Nazi Party. And Donald Trump is not a Nazi. He's not a fascist. He's not a right-wing zealot wanting to put Jews or other minorities into concentration camps. He's not that kind of guy. And what's interesting is that I do hear that message, though, coming from the Harris campaign. And I do think the rhetoric was pretty loud, and I sense a little bit of desperation on her part that she is trying to scare the living daylights out of the American voter to somehow convince them that, yes, indeed, Donald Trump is a fascist. And he will do horrible things if elected. He will suspend the First Amendment. He will lock up journalists and TV broadcasters in re-education camps, like a concentration camp. And he will, what else do they say he's going to do? He's going to suspend civil liberties, and he's going to impose a national abortion ban. All these things that Donald Trump is supposedly going to do when reality is he's not going to do any of that. Even in the area of abortion, he has already said so many times that he is not going to sign a national abortion ban. Even if Congress were to theoretically do it, he's not going to sign it. And trust me, Congress doesn't have the authority or the will to pass any kind of pro-life measure that would completely ban abortion. That is not going to happen. But if you listen to the Harris campaign or the Elissa Slotkin campaign running for the U.S. Senate in Michigan, that's exactly what Trump's going to do. And regarding Slotkin, she has made that argument about Mike Rogers. Now, it is true, when Rogers was a congressman back in the 2010s, I think he didn't run for re-election in 2014 or 15, somewhere in that time. He was very pro-life, and he was endorsed by Right to Life in Michigan for every election he ran for Congress back in those years. But he doesn't have the authority to impose a ban in Michigan. I mean, the Slotkin argument is that if he becomes a senator, the Michiganders are going to lose the right to have an abortion. Well, that issue was settled 2 years ago with Proposal 3. It's now part of the state constitution. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Women in Michigan can get abortions basically through all 9 months of pregnancy for any reason at all. So Slotkin is trying to scare voters, just like Harris is, to scare voters into thinking that we will lose our right to have an abortion if Trump and or Mike Rogers joins the Senate. I get tired. I just get tired of people throwing out these bombastic claims that are not based on reality. I just get tired of all this rhetoric. Now, I mean, it's true both sides engage in political grandstanding and hyperbole and throwing out outlandish claims. I mean, that's been going on since before the Abe Lincoln election of 1860. It's been going on for a long time. I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying it's part of our political culture in this country. And I'm sure other countries have the same problem with people distorting the truth. But I do think it's quite interesting that the Harris campaign has built practically their entire campaign around reproductive freedom. You know, she cannot run on the great job we did on getting our troops out of Afghanistan. She cannot run on the great news that we shut down the Keystone Pipeline on day one and gas prices went up $1. She can't run on the fact that food prices have gone up 22% since 2021. You know, she can't run on the fact that since 2021, over 10 million illegal immigrants have crossed our southern border, and that we've got like 18,000 convicted murderers who are now in our country. She can't defend that, and you know, she goes through a lot of this word salad stuff, you know, and then she talks about, I'm from the middle class. I mean, if we've heard that once, we've heard it a dozen times. You know, I'm from the middle class, and my mom didn't buy a house until I was 13 or 14. And then she talks about goals and aspirations and dreams. You know, she doesn't answer any questions. She doesn't talk about policy. She just talks about goals and aspirations and dreams. And I was born in the middle class. I get tired of that. I just did. And I'm hoping you get tired of it too. Okay, ranting here, I shouldn't be. And I can close now. Tomorrow is election day, and hopefully the next time I'll be recording another pro-life week message on Wednesday. So hopefully on Wednesday we will know what happened on Tuesday, and I'll be commenting on some of the issues. And if our people lose, maybe I'll be commenting on maybe why they lost. Or if our team wins, I'll be commenting on maybe why the other side lost and how they focused their campaigns on the wrong issues. But you know, I've talked before about the fact that Right to Life in Michigan Political Action Committee did not endorse Donald Trump. What the PAC did say in all of their publications is that we have to make sure that Kamala Harris is defeated. If that's a backdoor endorsement for Trump, take it for that. But we have been very clear, Kamala Harris cannot be our next president because she is very pro-abortion, obsessed with the issue. It's the cornerstone, it's the bedrock, it's the foundation stone of her campaign. The other foundation stone is, I'm not Donald Trump because he's a Nazi. Now that's basically all she has. I'm not a Nazi, and reproductive freedom. That's all she has. That's all she has to run on. And I don't think that's a solid enough message for the American voters to give her the reins of power. I just have a hard time believing the American voters are that dumb. I probably shouldn't say that, but is the American voter that dumb to put in somebody who is so unqualified and incompetent? And for all of Donald Trump's flaws, the economy was doing pretty well when he was president until COVID came along. And if you can get past a lot of his bluster and blather and persona, then I think the American public will be well served with him as president again. Anyway, vote tomorrow. If you haven't voted, please vote tomorrow. Do your civic duty. Vote for our pro-life candidates. And they do desperately need your vote. With that, I'll let you go, and I'll see you next time.